Today I want to go over useful acronyms. And by the way, an acronym is just the first letter of a couple words to just shorten the time it takes to say something with the same meaning, right? So let's get into it. So the first acronym I wanted to go over is FYI. So this stands for your information. So you would say this for your information when you're about to share a fact. So, or when you're about to share something useful or true. When you share some news or a fact. So, examples are, well, I guess not some examples. So, like some alternatives, by the way, just to give you context, are just so you know. So you could say, just so you know, it's going to rain tomorrow. Or you could say, FYI, it's going to rain tomorrow. Another alternative is, I thought you should know. I thought you should know your daughter at school ate a lot of sugar today. FYI, your daughter at school ate a lot of sugar today. Whatever it is. You could also say, something to know, or something to note. So, you could say, FYI, your tire looks a little flat. Something to note, your tire looks a little flat, right? So these are alternatives. And then, of course, you could just say, for your information, FYI. This is the main one that we're going over. So for your information, or FYI. Perfect. Okay. So for your information, when you're about to share some news or a fact or just something that somebody should know. Okay. Next is ASAP, or as soon as possible. So as soon as possible. This is for something urgent. To be done. So it's usually over a task, okay? So let's go over some alternatives or other things just to put it into context. So it could be, can you get to it? Can you get to washing the dishes as soon as you can? Can you change your oil? Can you blank quickly? Can you change your oil quickly? Can you brush your teeth quickly so we can go? And then just like, can blank be done ASAP? Right? Or as soon as possible. So as soon as possible is just going over something like super quick. You're trying to get something done. It needs to be done. It's urgent. So as soon as possible, as soon as you can, quickly, those are other alternatives to do it. Great. So we've gone over ASAP, FYI. This one is a good one. So TBD stands for to be determined. So this is to answer a question that you may not be super sure about. So, so this is when a decision still needs to be made. Okay, so TBD, when a decision still needs to be made. So alternatives or other ways to say it would be, so this is like, you could say, are we hanging out tomorrow? Like if somebody asks you, are we hanging out tomorrow? Are we going to the gym tomorrow? You could say TBD, that's to be determined. I need more information to make the decision, right? So alternatives are, that's still up in the air. That's also kind of weird. Like something is still up in the air. So that can mean, or you could say this as like, hey, are we going to the lake this weekend, or are we hanging out this weekend? You could say, oh, that's still up in the air. I need more information to decide if we are going to hang out or go to the lake or whatever it is or not. You could also say, a little bit more formally, that still hasn't been decided, or you could say decided on. So you could say, hey, are we going to the lake this weekend? That still hasn't been decided. Oops, that still hasn't been decided, or that still hasn't been decided on. Okay. And then just that's still TBD. That's still to be determined. So you can say these, by the way, I didn't clarify, but you could just say the letters. So FYI, that's what you would say. ASAP, like that's how you say ASAP or ASAP. And then TBD, you could just say the words, or excuse me, the letters TBD. So that's still TBD. Okay. Then the last one is ETA, also for social situations. And this, you always say like ETA. You don't really say what it stands for, which is estimated time of arrival. So this is the exact or estimated time you will get somewhere. So this is helpful for like parties or when you're on your way somewhere. Somebody needs to know your exact time of arrival, like when you're going to get there. So alternatives would be, when will you get here or there? When will you get here? When will you get there? Right? Let's say somebody's waiting for you for dinner, like you're going to your mom's house for dinner, and she'll ask you, when will you get here? When's your ETA? Um, how far out are you? That's another way to say this. That's another way to ask how far out they are. This is like they'll respond in either minutes. So they'll say, I'm 10 minutes away, or they'll say, I'm getting there in 10 minutes, or I'm getting there at 4:35 p.m., whatever. So how far out are you? I'm 10 minutes out. I'm 10 minutes away. And then just the what's your ETA? What's your estimated time of arrival? Of arrival. Okay, so this is very helpful just when somebody needs to know the exact time, and the more exact, the better when somebody asks you what the ETA is. So, example would be like, my ETA is 4:47, or it's 7:28, or something like that. So typically somebody's asking for a fairly specific number. But yeah, hope this helps. These are some helpful acronyms.